Hey there, everybody, checking in with you on this Tuesday, the 21st of April. I've had a number of inquiries and emails from you all wanting to talk about, and I've just been sitting on it for last couple of weeks till I felt clearer or an urge from my spirit guides to look into it, and that is what's happening with the missing and deceased scientists, the nuclear and rocket scientists, particularly in the areas of I wrote down national security, space, NASA, and nuclear scientists. So we know now the numbers are up to, I've seen some reports of 11 missing and deceased and or deceased scientists. Some are saying it's up to about 12 now, but it's definitely gaining a lot of momentum. We've got Tim Burchett, a Republican out of Tennessee, saying he's seen some documents there that quote unquote people would be alarmed at why the government won't allow the information around UFOs and ETs to be released. There are reportedly around 46 videos of unidentified aerial phenomena, UAPs, that are out there. We also understand that Trump went, was it at Kansas? I can't remember. He went somewhere for a Turning Point event last week, and the subject came up, and he said that he's aware of this information and that it will be released. James Comer, House Oversight Committee, has apparently issued letters to the heads of the FBI, NASA, the Department of Energy, and the Department of Defense to issue reports by April 27th, explaining what this is, what information the government has around the existence of UFOs and ETs, and like why it's not being released to the public. All that said, I'm gonna go in now to spirit and see what's going on here. Is there some of this I'm getting intuitively, and I think it's been reported as well. Some of this, but especially in the case of deceased members, members of the scientific community, these scientists, that some of it may have been natural, but something's up. All right, let's go in. I have the Four of Swords that comes at the bottom of the deck. I never ignore what I get at the bottom. That's always a catalyst for me, the energy going into the reading. So this tells me the knowledge is there, clearly. This documentation is there. Tim Burchett isn't lying that he actually saw this information, as have other members of Congress. Why? So it's there. Four Swords, clarity around it. How does it get released? Spirit, first, are these scientists being taken or sidelined somehow because of what they know? Like, is there a concerted effort to remove these scientists? Maiden of Pentacles, Six of Pentacles, and the Five of Pentacles. All these pentacles are coming out. Now, the pentacles would represent their bodies as people, also the information that they have, the documents, the videos, what's out there and should be or will be made available to the public. This is also in the Maiden of Pentacles. I'm getting this is also around something that these scientists were on the verge of discovering, releasing, putting into motion, because that's a newer energy, like something that was developing, something that was coming together. The Five of Pentacles, there is an effort to squash this, and the Six of Pentacles coming right behind it. I don't know that what I'm getting intuitively from this, you all, I don't know that they are necessarily in danger. Let me pull out my pendulum. Spirit, are these scientists the removal of those that are missing. Ooh, it's anxious to speak. You see it wobbling. Is this removal? Are these scientists in danger? The scientists as a whole, as a group, are they being endangered? Are they endangered? Are these scientists endangered? Are their lives in danger? Are their lives in danger, Spirit? Are their lives in danger? I'm getting a maybe. You see that rocking back and forth, up and down? So that's not a yes or that's a maybe. Ooh, and it's strong too. It's coming stronger. Ooh, and stronger. Okay, thank you, Spirit. They could be in danger. Why? Five of Pentacles, Six of Pentacles. What they know, what an effort to, and a Ten of Swords. There is a lot of worry by the government about the release of this information because people are going to freak out because there's lack of control over how to. Nine of Cups, the desire to control the information, and the Chariot, where it will go, what people will do with it. Panic. Is this widespread panic? King of Wands, Seven of Wands, and the Fool. Seven of Wands can be a combative energy. The King of Wands, this feels like one of these department heads, perhaps. It's interesting that Comer, one of the reports is supposedly due from the FBI. We all heard about, we know what's happening with Keystone Cash, etc. FBI is in a really tough spot right now. I think the King of Wands is, this could be Hegseth. This could be right. The men who are in charge of these agencies, these governmental bodies they're not ready. The Chariot, they want to fight. They want control or the appearance of control over whatever this phenomena is, and they don't have it. And that's where the Fool is coming in. The Fool, ruled by Uranus, changes, shifts. We've been told astrologically for quite some time that one of the changes that's coming to us in the global shifts that we're undergoing is the emergence of the reality of UFOs and ETs. But they don't want that. And the Ten of Cups, the idea that many people, domestic affairs being upended because of this knowledge, because they can't explain it. They don't have control over it. So Spirit, are you showing me that this is the reason that we got the maybe around there being in these scientists, the ones who are missing, not deceased, being endangered, is that because they're trying to, these governmental bodies are trying to get a handle on these scientists to get them to agree. Sit tight. Four of Pentacles. Sit tight. Four of Pentacles. Don't do this until we tell you to. Four of Cups. Ten of Wands. Too much for them to bear as agency heads. Too much for the people to bear. Is this tied to the elections this year? The Five of Cups. The Two of Cups. The Devil. This would be a real dismantling of the government's ability to even appear to be in control, you all. The devil has to do with bondage, right? And it has to do with fear. And there are fears around deals that have been made or they want to make with these scientists who are struggling because whatever information they have and that's been uncovered, whatever these documents are and these videos are, there's a real a sense and an urgency among these members in the scientific community, brilliant scientists by all accounts, that there's an obligation for how do you know something that is this pivotal, this important, this potentially life changing for how we are living here in on earth. How do you sit on that? That's the five. How do you sit on that? And how have you discovered this? How do you have the proof of this, which is what they've done apparently, and then be told, but you can't do it, devil. Your obligation is to wait until we tell you that, and if you won't, then we'll sit you to the side somewhere. That's where that spirit was saying, not they're not necessarily endangered one way or another. It's in a holding pattern. Spirit, will these scientists, the ones who are missing, will they be found? Will they be found? Will they come public? The Six of Cups, that feels like yes. In time, though, and Temperance. I think at least some of them are going to be found because we didn't get devastating like they've been taken out, if you know what I'm saying. They've been placed. It's almost as if they're in what do you call it when you put somebody in like a witness protection thing almost, but involuntarily. The Queen of Swords, that's a woman among these missing scientists. The Queen of Cups, that's another woman. And the Nine of Swords. The fears of what they know and what they were ready to tell. The Hermit, the work that they've done. These scientists, the work that they've done. And they don't want it told. Spirit, will this information, based on the request by James Comer, these heads of agencies, will this information be released within the next 2 months? I'm feeling something about June. Will this information around the UFOs, will the reports, the videos around the UFOs be released within the next 2 months? Will it be released within the next 2 months? Will we see what this information is, what this documentation is, these videos? Will we see them within the next 2 months? Will we see this information within the next 2 months? Please show me strongly if you're telling me really yes. Now you're going to see this counterclockwise, but where I'm sitting, this is a yes. It's going clockwise. Show me strongly. If this is a strong yes, if this information is going to get released, yeah, I'm feeling it. I can feel it in my fingers. The swing is stronger. So, thank you, Spirit. So this push is going to be successful, at least to a certain extent. We are going to see more documentation around what these findings were. Somehow, some way, at least it looks like one or two of the scientists are going to come forward. And the last thing I'm being led to ask, and some of it is in the reporting, not all psychic or spiritual, is are there foreign, is there some foreign hanky-panky going on here? Is this potentially Russia, China interfering in progress or the work of these scientists? Is this foreign intervention? Is this foreign intervention? Ten of Swords, Maiden of Wands, the Moon, Nine of Swords, and the Two of Pentacles. I feel like that's a combination Russia and China. and the Ace of Pentacles. So Russia and China may be involved in some way. Is it because they do not want the U.S. to have this progress, or to be to you know what I'm trying to say, to I'm like, you know what I'm trying to say, to basically get the be on top of things, like be the ones to discover. They're already stung behind all the hoopla behind Artemis 2, and now we're seeing Artemis 3 is already in motion. Is this their the Hierophant? This is some interplay, China and Russia being upset at who has mastery over phenomena related to space, relating to UFOs and unidentified objects. Four of Pentacles, ownership, wanting ownership, more, and the Emperor. They want to stop. Russia and China are in communication. I don't feel like they are necessarily the ones responsible for the missing scientists, or to the extent anything weird could have happened around the ones that are deceased. And let me just come right out and ask that spirit, was there foul play? And the scientists who are deceased, was there foul play? This is just a yes or no deck that I go to occasionally. Was there foul play in the scientists who are deceased? Was there foul play? The scientists who are deceased, was there foul play? No. But then followed by a yes. Yes, no, yes, no. And two yeses. The combination of those messages makes me feel like this was the spirit is trying to identify where the foul play came from. Was this foreign or domestic? Foreign or domestic? If it was foreign, please show me a major arcana. If it was domestic, please show me a minor arcana. Was it foreign or domestic? The Maiden of Swords. The Knight of Swords and the King of Cups. This is domestic, you all. That's not saying that, because I see that partnership, that's not saying that there's not some foreign intervention in there, but or you know, some things going on in the background, especially related to Trump. And this also feels like Putin, Putin more so than Xi Jinping in China, Putin especially. But this feels like someone, and the Two of Wands. I'm getting all minor energy, and you heard me say the prayer going into that. This feels like more of a domestic situation. It is information that I just get that it's something that with everything else going on right now, the government is trying to pretend that it's in control, that it has control over everything, and whatever these videos or whatever's contained here, it's enough to set people really on edge, on top of everything else, right? On top of everything that people are dealing with right now. There's a concern around fear, going back to that devil. Five of Cups, it comes back. Five of Pentacles comes back. This is cost, people being upset right now, uncertainty. Five of Swords, 3 5s back to back. That is not accidental, you all. five, these are, and fives, if for those of you who don't really get into tarot or don't read tarot, fives are the like tension, struggle within whatever suit they come. So a five of swords is struggle to absorb information, understand, what does this mean, what are you going to do about it, are we safe, like those kinds of feelings. Five of pentacles, the cost of addressing that on top of everything else right now. What would be required in by the government to be able to further that study, further that research, amp up security if that's what's necessary. And the Five of Cups, the emotional toll, the disappointment that these government factions would have feel within themselves, that they don't know really. Yeah, it's there, we can confirm the existence of it, it's too much to ignore. These scientists clearly have come up with, very, very powerful and persuasive information around this and documentation around this. But those who would then say, okay, where do we go with this? Do we establish communications? What do we do with this information in a way that conveys a level of competency or reassurance to the American public? That's what they don't have. And there's the Eight of Cups. That's what they don't have. And they are afraid that the to the extent that there's any trust still in the government right now, like that's almost one of the last straws. How could you have known this and not told us what was really going on around us? And that's what I think some of the scientists, the feeling that they were getting, the Ten of Wands comes back. They don't have the wherewithal. These government leaders do not have the wherewithal. And here comes the Queen of Cups. There's someone among those missing scientists, I think, who's going to slip through the cracks. Please confirm, Spirit. The Hermit. That's one of the scientists for sure. The Queen of Swords, she's back again. I need to look more, and maybe you all have as well, who these scientists are. But these women, we're going to hear from them. Are they discovered and come back and we hear from them? That's what you're showing me. The Two of Swords, that's the two of them. The Three of Swords. The Two of Cups, that's the two women again. The Three of Swords, though, the harm that they've undergone psychologically and their regret at having their work yanked this way, having their lives disrupted this way because of their work. There is a real fear there. And Temperance. That's interesting in this context because healing, waiting, moderation, time, playing out. They may be, they're trying to convince them to share and to change their stories or not release, but so much should they come back to the fore. Six of Cups. And the Ace of Cups. I think I don't know about all of them. I mean, again, we're looking at 11 or 12, and of that, some of them are already deceased. But I do think that what we're seeing here, you all, is something around at least two of the women among these scientists are going to reemerge in some capacity, even if it is reporting that where we don't see them directly or hear from them directly, but information leads to them. But they are definitely being essentially forced to withhold. And I just heard as well, going back to the Russia-China piece of it, if this was done domestically, everything for entertainment purposes only, clearly, right? But if this was done domestically, the fear was that Russia and or China could get their hands on these scientists to co-opt them or perhaps even force them to work more directly with them. And so they're like, before we let it get to that point, we'll squirrel you away somewhere. We'll take you off the table for now where nobody can get to you until we figure out what the heck to do with this information. Because with everything else going on right now, this is going to send people completely, you will have people who are absolutely delighted and say, I've always known it. I've had experiences with ETs. There are people who will be absolutely delighted to know about this. But the fact that Tim Burchett said would be alarmed at why the government won't allow this information. That sounds a little like something that's promoting or prompting fears, and that's what they want the control over before this comes out fully. But it is coming out bit by bit. It is coming out. It's gaining too much momentum and steam not to. All right, you all. Woo, some chins up for real. Shoulders back. Stay in your heart. My heart rate is up a little bit, right? This is huge. This is huge. And if it's that big for them to do this, to take these measures, to take these scientists, park them somewhere, I really do hope that we're not seeing that endangerment piece. But this is more of a controlled effort to keep them, park them somewhere and keep this information contained. But this is going to be big. Sky above us, Lord knows. and apparently a lot happening in the skies, right? Sky above us and the earth beneath us. Beneath us, keeping us safe, right? Solid, grounded in all things. Get your crystals, right? Ground. I'll talk to you later. Bye.